really hope this is work. I really hope this is working. I'm not actually 100% sure because I'm outside in the garden and I've never used the laptop out here before. Yeah, sorry now. So I'm not sure if you got that last bit, but hi, this is my first ever live, so I hope you'll bear with me. But I thought I'd show you what was in the famous box that I had out earlier on in the week. This was an impulse buy from a company called Farmer Gracie. They did a big end of season sale of summer flowering bulbs, and um, the reason they were selling them so cheap really was because it's not exactly the right time to sow some of these, but I'm going to take a chance on it. I got a really good bargain and I couldn't resist it, so here I am. And what I'm going to plant are gladioli. So they're bulbs like this, and very helpfully in this case, they're already sprouting, so I know which way they go up because I have done the trick of planting them upside down at times. So if that has been you, don't worry. If it wasn't sprouting, I'll try and find one that isn't. Of course, there won't be one that isn't sprouting now. They look like an onion. So there's usually kind of like a hairy root bit at the bottom, and that's it. Worst comes to the worst, if you put them in upside down, nature has a great way of figuring this stuff out itself, and it will put them in the right way. So all you need to do is dig a hole in your soil in the ground. Usually for these kind of bulbs, you go twice. You make sure that twice the height of the bulb itself is on top of it. So you're digging a hole 3 times the depth of the bulb. You dig the hole 3 times the depth of the bulb, put the bulb in, put the soil back on top of it, give it a bit of water, and Bob's your uncle, hopefully. So these gladioli should come out in September. The reason why I've chosen these ones, I chose them because in this bed, it's nice now. Can you see I've lupins there behind me? And this here is a big hydrangea, huge big pink flowers, and there's a climbing pink rose as well. But come September, everything is sort of stopping at the one time. I'm trying to fill a gap with these. And fingers crossed it works. The colours of them, I'll put up a picture, a post showing you the colours of them, but the colours of them are supposed to be lime green and a kind of a lime green with a little bit of purple mixed in through it. Um, Now, my grand theory is that this is going to look amazing with my lovely purple wall, but I have gotten this stuff wrong so many times that who knows. But if it works, it'll be lovely. And one way or the other, it'll be something nice in September. And you're always glad when other things are dying that something else is coming along to cheer you up. So I reckon I can't go wrong. So look, I'm going to plant a few of these just to show anybody who doesn't plant bulbs very often how you do it. And the same process you would use for daffodils or tulips or snowdrops and those kind of bulbs that we can do later on in the autumn as well. So, okay, move this out of the way. My two different types. So these ones are called evergreen. These are the lime green ones. I have actually planted because they were a bargain, so I bought loads of them. I have planted quite a lot of these in at the back already. So I'm putting lime green towards the back. I'm going to put some of the ones with the purple in it now closer to here. I dug a couple of the holes just so you wouldn't be looking at me with my head down and bum up for too long. Second out. Oh yeah, here, look, here's a really good example of one that it'd be hard to know. It doesn't actually have a hairy bottom to know where the roots are, but it does have a pointy top. So that would be the other way that you could try and figure out which way up to put it. Now, here's one. I'm trying to figure this one out. This way. But like I say, it usually works its own way out anyway. Okay, so that's 3 down. Now, how far apart you put them is you have to check for each type of bulb, really. So I checked for these ones. They go about 6 inches or 15 centimeters apart, about that much apart. So actually, kind of sorry, I spaced some of them too far apart back further, but anyway, it'll have to do now. So I'm going to dig another couple of holes. So this one, I don't know how well you can see the depth of this, but basically, if you were looking at my trowel, I'm going to do it to about here. I'm going to dig my hole up to about here on the trowel, okay? I'm going to dig a few of these holes now while I'm at it and pop all the bulbs in together, and hopefully it works. Another one, and another one. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go back and put in some of my lime green ones in here, just that they're kind of, I want it to look like they're sort of naturally blending between the two different types. Um, the other thing you'd want to know about these Gladiola, you'll see the picture that I post, but they're quite tall, so they're going to be about that high. It's about a meter high, so waist high, really, I suppose, on me. And they're a spear-like flowers, so they're kind of like not totally dissimilar to the lupins behind me, except for each bulb will be one flower on a big, tall stalk. For any of you old enough to remember, as old as me, they're the flowers that Morrissey used to throw around the stage on Top of the Pops years ago. Anyway, they are tall and thin, so they need support. And I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to manage that when it comes in September because I've bought so many of them. I don't have enough bamboo canes to support them all, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I might go back to the evergreen. Okay. Here. I'm kind of thinking that the more of them that I put together, the easier it might be to support a little clump of them than just single ones. I risk it. Here. Yeah, I'm kind of covering up the ones I've already planted with the soil for the new holes I'm digging. I really hope I'm not talking to myself here. I'm not fully sure. I'm used to doing Zoom meetings, but not this Facebook Live. There's a weed I didn't get earlier on when I was trying to make it look like everything's weed free. Okay, so the soil in this bed is lovely now. It used to be terrible, real clay, like nearly like clay dough. But we put a lot of manure in it there a couple of years ago, and it's a lot better than it used to be. So hopefully they'll be happy there. So I just covered them all up. If you can see that, I'll move these guys out of the way. Cover them all up now. Pat them down a little bit. You could mark them if you want. If you're not, if you think you're going to forget where you put them, but I kind of know where I won't. I won't get confused here. And then the last thing I need to do with these guys. Runaway bird. Where it went. There. Is to give it a water. Um, even bulbs need to be washed in. Anything you newly plant needs to be washed, of course, but even bulbs. I didn't do the ones in at the back, so I didn't have to do that. Well, that's it. We'll have to hope it works. Be interesting to see this experiment. This bed is, um, let's call it cottage garden or messy. So my other little bulb job I was going to show you this evening is another job you could be doing now if you haven't already done it. So this pot here was, I'll post a picture of that as well. This pot was tulips and muscari, which are look a bit like bluebells if you don't know what they are. And what you're supposed to do with those is you take off the flowers and leave the leaves to die down. So the idea is that the flowers When the plant doesn't have to support the flower, it sends the energy that the leaves are taking in down into the bulb to make more flowers for next year. So then you let the leaves kind of die off themselves. And usually when they're ready to go, they nearly come out all by themselves because they're fully dying off. Some of these are and some of them aren't. So what I'm going to do, actually, it's easier to do start the off. Take them all off. The ones that are loose enough to come off, I'm just going to pull them off because a bit of a neat freak. You could leave them, I suppose. Um, the trick, close cut off the rest of them. So anywhere you've daffodils now around the garden that have died off, if the foliage is driving you crazy looking at it, it can go now. So I have a load to do this weekend of that job. Okay, nearly there. It was such a fabulous evening. I hope we get more of this over the summer. Okay, right. Now, when that's done, it's kind of going off to bed until next spring. But before it goes to bed, you give it a feed. So I have here chicken manure pellets. They look like that, and you can be glad it's not smell-o-vision because they're pure stink. You put a small handful of them. So I'm going to say, in the size of this pot, like which isn't huge, I'm going to put about that much. Hang on. I'm going to put about that much in. So put it in, and then I will let it go down into the soil a little bit. And what that'll do is kind of similar, when you have a plant in a pot, it's going to run out of nutrients if you don't find some way of topping it up. So I'll probably put a little bit of compost on that as well when it's fully settled down. But there's no real space to put compost in it at the minute, but it'll die down a bit further. Okay, so there's the pellets in it. And you don't have to do this, but I know it's not going to rain for the rest of the weekend, so I'm going to give it a little water as well, and then put it away somewhere where it won't annoy you. And that's another little job. That'll just mean if you do it now, you'll have a nice pot of tulips back again next spring, hopefully. And that's the end of my first Facebook Live. So for anybody who managed to watch it, thank you very, very much. And I'm going to try and make myself do more of these, but I'm a bit camera shy. So I hope it has been okay and you guys have enjoyed it. And I'll see you soon. Bye.